Guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to see about the muscles of mastication. First muscle we are going to see is the masseter muscle. You can see here the green shaded muscle. This is the masseter muscle. First, let us see about the superficial layer of the masseter muscle. I am isolating that in order to see about the origin and insertion. So here you can see the origin and insertion of the masseter muscle, and that too the superficial part. So this muscle arises from the lower border of the zygomatic arch. So this is the zygomatic arch, this portion, and also it arises from the adjoining parts of the zygomatic process of the maxilla. So now I am going to show those parts. So here you can see. So this part is the zygomatic process of the maxilla. You can see that. That is the zygomatic process of the maxilla, from where some portion of the superficial layer of the masseter muscle arises, and this portion is the zygomatic arch, and that too the lower border of the zygomatic arch. So in brief, again I am saying the origin of the masseter muscle. It arises from the zygomatic process of the maxilla as well as from the zygomatic arch, and that on the lower border. Now coming to the insertion of the masseter muscle. So it gets inserted into the mandible. You can see here, this is the ramus of the mandible, and particularly this is the lateral surface of the ramus of the mandible. So the masseter muscle superficial part gets inserted into the lower portion of the lateral surface of the ramus of the mandible. Hope you can clearly see the insertion of the masseter muscle. Coming to the nerve supply, it is supplied by the masseteric nerve. Hope you all know about the mandibular nerve. Masseteric nerve is a branch of anterior division of the mandibular nerve. So the mandibular nerve arises from the trigeminal ganglion, along with other two branches. One is the ophthalmic and the other is the maxillary. Now coming to the actions of the masseter muscle, and that to the superficial part. It elevates the mandible, and also the superficial fibers, it causes the protrusion of the mouth. The next part we are going to see is the deep part of the masseter muscle. For that I am removing the superficial part. In order to see the insertion and origin, I am isolating that. Here you can clearly see the insertion and origin, the deep part of the masseter muscle. Here you can see the origin of the deep part of the masseter muscle. It takes origin from the posterior part of the zygomatic arch, little deeper to that of the superficial part of the masseter muscle. Then coming to the insertion of the deep part of the masseter muscle, it just gets inserted into the ramus of the mandible. The leftover part in the ramus of the mandible is just occupied by the insertion of the deep part of the masseter muscle. The nerve supply and actions for both the part of the masseter muscle is the same. So it is applied by the masseteric nerve, and actions, it elevates the mandible, and also it also somewhat helps in the protrusion of the mouth. So the next muscle we are going to see is the temporalis muscle. You can see here the temporalis muscle. It is a fan shaped muscle, and it fills all the temporal fossa. I am just hiding it in order to see how it is just covering the temporal fossa. You can see here, so this portion, so this curved portion you can see here, this is the temporal fossa. So this muscle covers almost all areas of the temporal fossa. Coming to the origin and insertion. So this muscle takes origin from the temporal fossa. The sphenoidal bone, the frontal bone, the parietal bone, all these bones, they contribute to the formation of the temporal fossa. Here you can see that. So this is the sphenoidal bone, which contributes to the formation of the temporal fossa. So then you can see here, this is the frontal bone, which also contributes to the formation of the temporal fossa. And this is the parietal bone. So it takes almost origin from the whole of the temporal fossa, except from the zygomatic bone, that is the cheekbone. Then coming to the insertion of the temporalis muscle, it gets inserted into the mandible. Here you can see the coronoid process. So it is also inserted into the anterior border of the ramus of the mandible. So this coronoid process, it just extends forwards to form the anterior border. So the temporalis muscle, it also gets inserted into the coronoid process as well as to the anterior border of the ramus of the mandible. Coming to the nerve supply of the temporalis muscle, it is supplied by the temporal branches from the anterior division of the mandibular nerve. Then coming to the actions, it also helps in the elevation of the mandible. So you can see here it is attached to the coronoid process of the ramus of the mandible. So when it contracts, it helps in the elevation of the mandible, and it also helps in the retraction of the protruded mandible. Mainly the posterior fibers helps in the retraction of the protruded mandible.